So, pleasant surprise getting the Canon R6 Mark II. I mean, I don't have it, but people, the typical big YouTuber guys got it. And funny enough, I was actually about to make a video about why I love, my Canon R5. I've been shooting with it pretty much all year, and I love it. There's been a couple updates that have definitely enhanced the quality of life for the R5, and I was getting ready to make that video, which actually wasn't going to go live until next week. So I'm still going to make that video and it's going to go live next week, but I was not expecting to wake up to these videos of the Canon R6 Mark II, and I didn't plan on making this video, but some of the things were kind of interesting to me, and now it's kind of like a compare and contrast to the R5. So let's get into it. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. All right, so 6K oversample. So that pretty much just means that we're gonna get like a better 4K image, which I'm not mad at, but I don't feel like the 4K on the R6 was bad anyway, even when I owned it. So I mean, that's neither here nor there. Next thing, 6K raw. But there's an asterisk with that. The 6K raw, you have to use, if I'm not mistaken, an external monitor to get that capability. But the fact that they even offered it, I mean, whatever, that's cool. So the next thing on the photo side was the 12 frame per second mechanical and the 20 frame per second electronic on the R6 Mark I. That was when I shot sports with the R6. It was pretty good for me, both shooting the 12 frames and the 20. On the Mark II, it's still 12 frames per second mechanical, but on the electronic, it's 40 frames per second now. So I could only imagine, think about 24 frames per second video, 30 frames per second video. You essentially shooting a video clip. I think that that's pretty good. Is it gonna sway me to buy it? No, but I thought that was pretty good for people that are maybe trying to get into shooting sports and something like that, and they want a new camera. And maybe, I mean, at this point you can get the R6 I and probably get it for cheaper since the 2 is about to drop. Or if you just want to kind of future-proof yourself, then you can go ahead and get the Mark II, and then you get that 40 frames per second. So another thing that they added was a quick switch between photo and video. Now for me, having the R6, the Mark I, the switching between photo and video, like, while to some it's easy to just turn the dial, for me personally, it was a pain in the ass, because not only did I have to turn the dial, but I had to tweak my video settings again. And if I was trying to do something really quick, then it just didn't work out. And then in terms of the R5, like, I love the way that I can switch between photo and video on my R5, but not everybody does. So it's pretty much 2 buttons and I'm switched. Mode, info, done. It's, if they didn't do it like they did the R5C, I mean, granted that's 2 different menu systems, but if they didn't do it like they did the R5C, to where it takes like 7 seconds, 8 seconds to switch over, then it could be a gem. My only concern though is, when you switch the mode, does it tweak the settings? Does it recall the same settings that you had on when you were shooting video or when you were shooting photo? More so important for me would be the video side. If I switch to photo and then tweak my settings 1/250th of a second, and then my ISO is all over the place, and then I switch to video and it has those same settings, that's a problem for me if it doesn't recall that. So like with the R5, I have custom menu, not custom menu, I have custom sets to where it's 4K 120, 4K 120, 4K 60, 4K 24. So as soon as I switch back to video, all of my settings and everything are just set. I can switch back to video and it literally takes a second, maybe 2. So again, if it doesn't recall the settings on that quick flip of the switch, then I don't know, it's not gonna sell me. Which I guess tied into that, I'm wondering if they're actually gonna give custom modes to the R6 Mark II. That would definitely be a key thing, having the dials, and you can either map photo settings, which you could do that on the Mark I. You can map photo settings, but you couldn't map video settings. So if you were able to map video settings to the custom modes on the dial, then that'll definitely be a big game changer just for hybrid shooters in general versus just kind of photographers and videographers. The Mark I is definitely a solid hybrid camera, but it's just for me, I'm a person of convenience, and you know, having custom modes, especially when you're mainly a video shooter, is, you know, definitely convenient. So this one will be pretty quick. The R6 Mark I had a 20 megapixel sensor. The Mark II has a 24 megapixel sensor. So, you know, slight bump in the megapixel count, but not nothing that's, again, finna sway me to make a choice or make a decision. So they added 1080 180 frames, which that's not bad. I mean, I'm pretty much cool at 120, anything over that. And 120 I don't even use as much as I used to. Like, it's kind of sparing that I use it, but you know, I guess having the option is not bad for, you know, those that are into it. One of the biggest things that they added to this camera was no record limit, but that seems to be a trend, especially, I mean, the law has been wiped, and Sony and pretty much everybody else has been giving cameras with no record limits, but Canon is finally starting to jump on board with the newer cameras, the R7, the R10, you know, cameras like that. I think you could shoot up to 6 hours, but that's pretty much unlimited, because who's really finna sit and record something 6 hours straight? Yeah, so that was like one of the biggest things. And while I'm not gonna cop the R6 Mark II, I definitely am waiting for the R5 Mark II if they decide to do that. And I'm curious, because what could you possibly put in the R5 Mark II that doesn't live in the R5C? But I don't know, I guess you wouldn't make it like a cinema menu and things like that. I mean, I guess there is things that you could do to add into the Mark V, things that you could add into the Mark II R5 that don't live in this one or any variation of camera that's out right now in terms of the Canon lineup. But I don't know, I guess we'll see. But y'all stay creative, man. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Hopefully they'll be announcing the R5 Mark II soon.